Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Insaka Talk Show. My name is Priska. This is Insaka Talk Show. For those of you that are just joining us for the first time, we come live every Sunday. We're going to give you some time to share the link. Please like, subscribe, and share. Also, the Insaka ladies, Insaka Talk Show would like to say happy birthday to a friend to the show, David Kazadi. For those of you, if you just hear the name Kazadi, you just know anything to do with movie industry and media. But before I go any further, let me say hi to my co-host. Hi, guys.
Hi guys.
Winnie, I love what you're wearing. What is that?
A tiny cap. I'm wearing a cap.
Miguel Piashan.
It's a Chitenge cap. What's the name? The girl, one of our girls from Zambia, designing this cap for us, and it's beautiful. So I figure, I'm African. I'm always have to represent myself wherever I go. So
Yes, ma'am, as you should.
beautiful
Nelly, I love the blue. Blue
Thank
and red.
you.
Beautiful.
Thank
How are
you.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How's Dallas?
It's very hot, triple digits,
Good.
100 and 203.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Irene White, how are you, my dear?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. I love the hair. You're giving me the Naomi Campbell look.
I know. Gorgeous.
hey,
Oh,
Good employment.
Oh my God, guys. So, what is trending in Zambia? Let's talk about our trending topics. I don't know if you guys
Our pastor. I was talking to Priska this morning. I said she was saying something about going to church. I'm so scared to even commit to a church because I'm scared of all these fake prophets or whatever they call themselves. Every church I've gone to, the first 10 minutes, they're asking for money.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, I just got here. I don't even know what the preacher is talking about. You already Mbale three times. Kwaliba.
What church are you going to, Irene?
I know. Tell
Well,
us.
I go to Willow Creek. That's where I was baptized. My son was baptized there. It's a mega church. It's a very nice church. They don't do the kambale. It's just that it's too far, no excuse. And I think my schedule at work doesn't match. But this thing that's going on in Zambia needs to stop. Did you hear that a pastor in Mazabuka, prophet, said he can turn a black man into a white man? What kind of nonsense is that? I
That is
don't know.
witchcraft. So allegedly, the prophetess Naisa, I'm going to say allegedly so she doesn't come for us. Prophetess Naise has been trending on social media. I don't know if you guys have seen it, where she asked people for money. I will pray for her husband. Sometime, I think last year, she posted that she was engaged and she was asking people to sow a seed
What?
so she can pray for them to get married. That marriage never came to pass. And she posted a picture of her Kuma Mountain where she was praying, and they took a picture of her. And then I think the last one she did was, "I'm praying for you to get a cell phone iPhone 13." So
Jesus.
people are going for her.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
so she is asking people to pay for prayers.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I say something over this part?
Hmm.
The problem is Zambia, what we are having is we want everything microwaved. I go to UCZ. I mean UCZ Catholic and even Methodist and Seventh Day. Those are the churches.
Just the
that we live.
traditional
The
church.
traditional churches.
So when you go to church, you know what you're going there for. Of course, you have to pay your tithe. You have to
Mhm.
pay offering. But nowadays, we young fellas, we young people, I'm going to put myself there, but I don't do it. But I'm going to put myself because I'm a young fella. When somebody comes to me and say, oh, you're not married, or something is going on with you, if I pray for you, it's going to end. We want to go faster. But what we're forgetting is yourself. God said you can kneel down and pray for yourself. All these people, they're just getting your money.
And salvation is free. And then she posted, "Oh, we can do a one-on-one. I have an executive office where you can sit, and there's a regular office." They are making it so hard for real preachers. Like people don't even want to go to church anymore.
Mhm.
But this is why I say if you're feeling not to go to churches, go to the old churches. Because guys,
I'm telling you.
lack of in the Bible it says, "My people are perishing because of lack of knowledge."
Yeah.
Just last week, some churches in Ghana, this pastor taking off underwears, and I will put it on our page. People can see it. Abakashana, they go in front of the pulpit, they take off the underwear, and the pastor is touching them
All
so
about
they,
yeah.
so they
Yeah,
can
I saw that.
because of what? What are you looking for, guys? Let's think.
Miracle, they are sold for miracle and prophecies. And so what? Ngabak better prophecy than what?
You see, this is my Bible. It moves around with me all the time. I sleep with it in my bed. Even that nonsense, you, Winnie, and Priska played that game.
I'm coming for that one. I'm
This
coming
is
for
my
you.
guide. So you guys, I will talk about this another day because we don't have a lot of time. But
No, we do. We
you
do.
want to talk about it?
Yes.
No,
Guys,
Nelly, you did not say anything about the prophetess.
no, we don't have time.
no, Nelly, just 1 minute.
Exactly.
The
Bible.
reason why she's carrying a Bible today, I'm going to tell our audience, our sister here.
I carry it every day. What are
Yes,
you talking
and
about?
I'm grateful that you're doing that. Our sister here went to the store and she got some nice jewelries. And these jewelries, I don't know if we still have pictures of it.
You should have had pictures for you to talk about it. If you don't have pictures, why are we talking about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Next topic.
To cut the story short, fiale muneka what fibwanga.
I am going to feel one go muntu. It's the same thing.
I beg to differ. Why?
No, I don't think it's true because you know what? You guys you were just dissecting something that you didn't see. You only saw it on camera, and then you messed up my head. You were saying all these cruel things, and I ended up putting it outside.
So
It's
if you
sitting
don't
outside
believe in
right
it,
now.
why did you put it outside?
Did you hear yourselves? You too?
No, we told you you don't believe in it. Why did you put it outside? Then you keep it.
No, throw them away.
It's jewelry. So why? Because it's African. All of a sudden, it's.
I am going to put on our page so people can see what we're talking about. Don't go to the store
Anyway.
and buy things that you don't have an idea about it.
What?
Do
what is
not
the trending-
worry. I'm going to wear it next Sunday.
She said,
Winnie, what else is trending? What else
What's
is
the
a
trending topic in the U.S.?
in the US, Britney Spears got married. Yay!
Congratulations, Brittany.
Congratulations.
It's about
Brittany.
time.
She went
Yeah.
through that time with the family. I think everybody knows about it. I don't want to go allegedly. I'm going to say like that.
No, it's true.
No, it's true.
Went through it.
She went through a lot of stuff with the family, but back home, what she was going through, we would say like, but in America, when you are 18 years or 21, you are entitled for your own money if you make your own money. So she got her own money. I felt bad. Her father didn't go to the wedding. She walked herself on the aisle, but sometimes shit happens.
And her ex-boyfriend
Did
went
what?
to the wedding.
We went to the
And he
wedding.
was live streaming.
Oh wow.
Ah,
He
As
crashed
well.
the wedding and it was live streaming.
Everybody wants a name. It's the same thing. Everybody wants a name.
you know what, Brittany? Enjoy your new marriage. You obviously must love this man for you to walk down the aisle without everybody else that's supposed to be walking with you. It's your marriage. The marriage is for who? Two people.
Yeah.
Go make it work, girl.
Anyway, so before we bring in our interesting guest, a lot of things to learn. If you have your pencils and peppers, if you want to share the stream, please share with your friends because our next guest is very interesting. But before we bring in our next guest, we are going to go to commercial and say thank you to our sponsors. We would not be here if it was not for you. So we're going to go to commercial.
All right, commercial.
Do you run a nonprofit organization in the education, health, and human services sectors? Do you need grant funding for your organization? Or do you need help developing programs to help you raise money for your nonprofit organization? At Vibrant Funding, our mission is to connect our nonprofit partners in the education, health, and human services sectors to the financial resources required to achieve their mission. We support nonprofit organizations based in and operating in the United States and Africa. We offer the following services to new and established organizations: program development, donor engagement and retention, grants research and writing. Contact us at www.vibrant-funding.com or email us at info@vibrant-funding.com. Call us at 404-751-6802 to learn more about our services and how we can help you to have an impact on the world. Vibrant Funding, connecting donors and nonprofits.
Hello, and welcome back to the show. So before we went on break, Priska told us we have a very interesting guest in the studio today. Guys, like she said, grab your pens, paper, notepad, whatever it is that you use to take your notes. This is going to be very educational, very inspiring. Hopefully somebody's going to be inspired today after this show. We are going to, before we bring our guest in, I would just love to read a little bit from his bio. He has a very extensive resume. If we're going to dissect it, we would be here for days, literally. This young man here is Mr. Ejike Edward Okpa, and he is the founder of a real estate consulting company, which is the Okpa Company. And he consults on real estate, economic development, international business, and global trade issues. This man has ran for Dallas mayor, city of Dallas mayor twice. He has run in the US Congressional District 32 race. He has traveled with presidents around the globe. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ejike Okpa to Insaka Talk Show. Sorry, there you are. Welcome to the show, sir.
I say, can I welcome myself? Well, thank you for such a kind and generous introduction. It's always good to be in the midst of a vibrant, educated, informed lady. So you all can take a shot at me. Hopefully, I will be able to stand when it's all over.
You'll be fine. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I left Dallas this morning about 10 something, and now I'm in DC because we have a meeting. I serve on the US Export Bank. You can Google it. It's Exim, EXIM.gov. And if you go in there and you see my name on the Sub-Saharan Africa Advisory Committee. Nice. I was appointed in 2019, the first Native African appointed on that stuff. So I'm here for a meeting tomorrow. And the meeting, basically, we're going to talk about alternative energy, how America, the program America has for that, for Africa, and every other where in the world. The Exim Bank is the largest of such a bank in the world. And $175 billion in export assistance lending. So
impressive.
Nice. Fact, he's been doing business in Africa, in 1962, which is Ghana became independent 57. 1962, Exim Bank, US Exim Bank lent Ghana $100 million back then.
What?
Back then. And so go back today, where is Ghana? He's still trying to figure itself out. The largest single deal that Exim did, was in 2019, where they lent $5 billion to Mozambique for LNG projects. So it's a very active bank. It's been doing stuff in Africa. Ethiopia Airline, was able to get a fleet of 777 because of Exim Bank support.
That's fantastic. As much as Exim Bank is awesome, we're here to talk about Mr. Ejike Okpa today. So we're going to switch gears for a little bit and talk about your personal journey, like as a person. Who is Mr. Okpa? And we'll help our audience kind of understand a little bit about who you are through some of the questions that we prepared for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you for that. I was born and raised in Nigeria, eastern part of Nigeria, Enugu, to be exact, where you have a campus of the University of Nigeria. So I went to college in Nigeria. When I finished high school, my father was very emphatic. He said, "Don't go to America until you get your college education." So, I responded to that. I never doubted my dad's, intentions for me or my parents. And so I went to college in Nigeria. I finished 4 year education in real estate, which in Nigeria they call it estate management, just like in Zambia. You
Mm.
know, and
So
so
to back up a little bit, are you the firstborn son of your father?
yes, that's why I have the same. I have my father's name, and then
Mhm.
my son has my name. So Ejike Edward has been in my family since almost 100 years now. Because
Oh, wow.
my grandfather, my father, me, and then my son, who is 20 something, he's going to be 27 in
Nice.
November.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Okay,
Okay.
sorry. Carry
So,
on.
so yeah, so I finished college, and then my father said, "Oh, okay, now you're free to go," and which was a very good thing because as soon as I came to U.S. Dallas, I have lived in Dallas all this time. I've lived in the same zip code, same telephone number, still drive the same car. Um, I decided that, I'm going to get into real estate. I told myself in 2 years, I get into America. If I don't get into real estate, I was going to go back to Nigeria. And I meant it because I said I wasn't going to come here and just do any kind of job for the sake of being in America. So I got in, I started networking. I network, I don't socialize. I'm not much of a drinker. I'm not much of anything. I don't hang around people for the sake of hanging around. So I started networking, and I found that in my Nigerian community then and now, everybody's, "Oh, these white people will let you do this, these people will let you do that." And I was like, what is it? Are they going to put a block in front of me and I can't do what I want to do? So I went out. Even my uncle, my mom's brother, who was very responsible for me coming because he came to America before me, was, say, "Hey, look, this is, he's been here. This is the situation, corporate America, yada, yada, yada." I said, "Okay, fine. Let me go try that out." So in 1988, I came to Dallas 87. 1988, I went to work for then Federal Savings Insurance Corporation. It's gone out of business now. It's been defunct. So I went to work for FDIC. That was back when the banks were failing in America. So there was a financial crisis. I became a property asset manager, property manager, and then 6 months I was promoted to regional appraisal manager over 8 states from the central office.
Great.
And,
So
and then,
I'm gonna take a pause right there, just so we're gonna take a little bit step backwards, right? You mentioned in our conversations prior to you coming on the show that you only eat once a day, and that you don't eat African food. Why is that?
well, again, when I was in Nigeria, I wasn't even eating much. If my mom was alive today, she would tell you my mom used to beat me to eat, and I refused. So after a while, she gave up on that. Even my son now is the same way. My son, he can, if you tell him to eat, but I eat once a day because I'm not a foodie. In fact, actually, when I go to a place and there's a lot of food in front of me, I lose appetite.
Mm,
So it has been a habit of mine from Nigeria. I guess in Zambia they call it secondary school. I went to boarding school, so I usually we eat. Sometimes I give my food to people because they are hungry. So I,
mm,
I have learned how to eat what I need. So when
mhm,
I came to US, you know how Nigerian food is heavy, carbohydrate, meat, this and that. So in 1990. Um, I ate fufu, and it was during summertime. You were talking about weather. I mean, I felt like if I was living with somebody at the time, I would have thought they poisoned me because
mm,
I felt so sluggish. And I
mm,
was like, what's going on with me? So then I was working for FDIC. I came home and I said, I'm not going to eat this again. I threw away the pot, threw away every food item that has to do with that fufu and swallow and egusi and blah, blah, blah because it wasn't good for me. I don't hate it, but I do what is good for my body. I'm in my 60s. I don't have diabetes. I have no high blood pressure. I have no, and nothing. because my lifestyle. Again, if it has to do with gene, being having some gene. But I'm fortunate that all this time I've never gone to a doctor. I took no medication. I take no vitamin. When I go riding, I don't drink water. I go 40, 50 miles. I don't drink water. So you just
if I may ask, so what do you usually eat so we can all learn from there? So when I become 60, I can be here with you.
Well, but let me tell you, if you put a bunch of peanuts and cashew nuts in front of me, I am ready to go.
No, like okay, in general, I'm sure you must have like a main meal. What do you have when you have like a chicken, rice? What do you eat? Because you can't just say you only eat once a day and you have snacks on a day going.
Yeah.
Like, what's your main meal?
I don't. Okay, I cook for me. I even, I'm married. I tell my wife, he has a maid. So I prepare what vegetable. I cook with water-based stuff. I don't put a whole lot of oil or no oil. So when I do my meat, it has to be boiled. I don't do the, grill thing. I don't like to see blood in anything I eat. So I have to cook it the way I want. So vegetable, some fish, shrimp, and that's it. No yam, no potato, none of those. Maybe rice once in a while. Basically, that's it. That's not a whole lot of things about food that I can tell you that I do. Ice cream, I can go for ice cream maybe once in 6 months or 3 months. But cashew nuts and peanuts in the morning, sometimes that's what I do. I would drink tea, and then have some cashew nuts, and my appetite is good for the day.
Good.
So, you mentioned to us that you came in the 80s, right?
Yeah, $87.
You migrated. Are you very active in your community, like with Nigerians and your children? Do you practice your language with them, like the traditional cultures of Igbo?
No, my kids, maybe they understand it, I don't speak it.
Okay.
I was, in the first few years, again, this is a natural reaction. I was involved, in my village people. A lot of my village people live in Dallas, and then of course by extension, there are some other Igbos from that part of the country. So, I was involved. In fact, the first association my village people formed, I was one that wrote the charter. The bylaws, so to speak. So I was involved for a few years, but the way they were doing the meeting, was in conflict with what I want out of association. Again, remember, I'm not a joiner. And when I was back home in Nigeria, I would attend meetings with my dad. He would take me to meetings just for me to observe, but I was never joining anything. So when I came, I went back to Nigeria the first time in 1989. And I was telling my dad, hey, this is what we're doing in Dallas. My dad kind of paused and asked me a question. I said, did you go to America to join village meeting? And that just kind of threw me back.
Let me complete my statement. The reason why I asked you that is I am a president for the Association of Zambians here in Illinois, and I feel very privileged to do that because I house a lot of personal issues that they go through, private issues and social issues. Like I was telling the ladies yesterday morning, they woke me up at 8. I was somewhere doing a conflict resolution. Then this morning I woke up, I was told somebody's in the hospital. I have to go and buy some food and take it there because the young lady cannot move around. Her mom cannot drive, so I had to take food. So it feels very fulfilling that I'm doing something like that for my own people. And I know
let me tell you, look, I have testified for Nigerians facing long-term prison sentences. I have done that. I have sponsored people to get visa to come here. I have gone to court and be an expert witness, to plead to a judge and said, hey, this is what is happening, give them less sentence. I have done all of that. But when I belong to an association, I want an association to be run as an association. And then at the same time, I want people to know that, when you are in America, we have to go with the rules. we have to go out with the laws. So when people have that are sick, I said, okay, you have insurance. What are your challenges? Getting a green card. How do you become a citizen? What are the things when you get into corporate America you're going to deal with? I do all of that without having to be a member of an association. I have done the Nigerian Organization of Nigerian Nationals. I've done the Igbos. I've done the World Igbo Congress. But I found that a lot of these things are done in the tribal way. If people are having a divorce issues, what am I going to go say? I went through a divorce myself. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my uncle. And I went through it, and I said, this is my thing. Let the court. So if they come in and tell me the village traditions, or my wife do this, or me as a man do that, how is that going to help me? If anybody wants that, that's fine. But for me, I don't need that. I don't need a whole lot of people telling me what to do. But I am very responsive. I have gotten an award from it.
I think when I'm hearing you crying, in a sense, you've done so much when you came in and you just give up. So in my own sense, as African person, African woman, African lady, and a mother, I have children, and I feel like no matter what we do, no matter how we become successful in life, the community, we need to figure out how as a community can work together. That's what Irene was trying to say. Like, I know maybe you came in early, you've helped so many people, and trust me, we've all done it in different way, where you help people and they disappoint you. But I feel in your sense, what you're saying, you've given up on them because you've helped so much. So if you feel like that, that's for you. But
no. I have not given up. I have not given up. What I'm saying is that I have to be involved in what I think makes a much bigger impact. Let me tell you, when people die in the Nigerian community, they go around and people contribute money. I have an interpretation on that. It has made some people not to have life insurance. It has made some people depend on the other people. And when I came to America, the year I came to America, I bought a life insurance. Okay, so 35 years I've been here. Wait a minute. So I went. I went to my association, and I was the one that introduced the community insurance, the first of its kind that African immigrants did in Dallas. I did it, but I told him, I said, I don't need to have that policy because it doesn't deliver to me the value I want. But if anybody wants it, go for it. That's what leaders are supposed to do. Leaders are supposed to bring opportunities to the people and say, in place of getting $40,000 or $20,000 when you die, you can actually buy a $100,000 policy, pay $20 based on your life and your age, and then you get more bang for it. So just running around and people praying $20, $30 because they feel, okay, if I die, somebody's going to take responsibility of my body. Nobody will do that.
So
when I die,
we are with you on that point.
Yeah.
Actually, Irene and myself have been very instrumental in bringing life insurance policies for the communities where we serve. So those are some of the things that we are also pushing. Right, it's always very embarrassing, honestly, when somebody passes away and you're literally passing around a plate in the name of GoFundMe, when you could be putting money every month that is being spent on frivolous things, right? So switching gears a little bit now, we are going to talk about the, just the professional side of your life, which we started a little bit, but we went a little bit personal. Now we are moving.
Oh, yeah.
We call it Insaka. So if you don't know, Ejike.
I would actually needed to know you first and then go back.
Let me tell you, you ladies. Okay, how many of us are on this show? This is 5, is it not? I'm the only guy on it.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's how many kids my mom had. I'm the only son of my mom, and I have 4 sisters. So go ahead.
Okay. So you got us.
It shows.
Understand.
I see. Also, you are in the middle of fighting. Oh, yeah.
No, I was the protector of my sisters. I don't let anybody abuse my sisters. Even in marriage, I tell guys who come to marry my sisters, if you ever hit my sister, I will declare a civil war on your family. So that's.
But before you were protecting them outside, you were fighting inside. And when we say fighting, we mean verbally, right? As siblings.
I mean, again, as the first son, I'm sure the tradition is the same thing in Zambia. The first son, you get a lot of privileges, but my mom never let me get those.
The Igbo tradition is very similar to a Zambian tradition.
Well, that's why I did the war. That's why during the Civil War, Kenneth Kaunda, was one of those people that recognized Biafra.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of Nigerians marry Zambians.
Yep.
Well,
Never
I
been
wish
there.
I met some of
They
you
marry
before.
and then they marry another woman in their country too.
Your
What are you
wife would
talking
want to
about?
know. All right. So, ladies, who wants to go with the first question here?
um,
On the professional side,
Yes.
what is no, go ahead. It's fine.
Okay. So, the way I met you through a mutual Zambian friend. And
Danielle,
yes, yes. And at the time, you were actually running for um,
Congress.
for Congress, right, under District 32. So I want to talk about that just briefly. Having stood um, for Dallas mayor twice for the city of Dallas, and as well as uh, as a congressional candidate for District 32 in Texas. Would you say that your political days are now over? Have you hung up those gloves to say, you know what, I'm done. I tried this. It's not for me. Or should we expect to see you in the political arena in the future?
Well, thank you. When I became a citizen in 1995, one of the things that I said is I'm going to run for office. I didn't say I'm going to run and win. In fact, actually, I have gained a lot when I ran because I get to know the city. I get to get into it. I know Dallas physically. I can describe Dallas as if I founded it or I was born here. I love the politics, they play here because you have to understand the policy. You have to talk about issues. You have to go, debate. That even though I didn't win, I never lost anything because there are sentiments about politics, and sometimes those sentiments is what drives the voters to vote one way or the other. Anybody who went to the debates that we had, they say Edward is always on top. I know the issues. But again, I give you numbers. If you go to Dallas, a lot of African immigrants don't live in the city of Dallas. They may live in Garland, Mesquite, and stuff. So when it comes to the vote, even though you say, "Oh, Africans are here," they don't vote in the municipal election. A lot of them don't even understand when the municipal election is going on. I was a member of the Dallas County Complete Count census in 2010. In that complete count, it shows that Africans live southwest, northeast of the metroplex. Okay, that is, Garland, not Grand Prairie, Mansfield, Arlington, blah blah blah, and they skip the city of Dallas and they go to Mesquite, Richardson, Dallas, blah blah. So when it comes in for the city, I live in the city. I'm not in Garland. I live in Dallas. When it comes, you don't find a lot of Africans, and then when you find them, a lot of them are not citizens. And then the ones that are citizens don't even know the municipal election. Their focus is on the presidential stuff. So those, I'm not saying that's an excuse. And then when I ran for Congress, remember there's always the primary before the general election. The same thing happened. A lot of Africans don't live in District 32. I live on a predominantly white part of town. It's not by default or design. I just chose to live there. But what I get out of this exercise is the knowledge I get out of it, the confidence it gives me. Now, I am being considered, I'm likely to be an ambassador. If Trump had won in 2018, I would have been made an ambassador. So I haven't given up on that dream. One of the things I said in 1995 when I became a citizen is that one day an American president will consider me for an ambassadorial post. That's what I want to do. And I want to be an ambassador to an African country. So I have that knowledge. If my resume, I don't even tell people a whole lot of things that I have done. I've been through the police.
Question before you go further. So you say you live in the suburb area, as you said that, and then
No. I live in Dallas. I live in Dallas.
You live in Dallas. It's a suburbs because it says
No, it's a city.
No. There's a city of Dallas and there's a county of Dallas.
Okay, so you live in Dallas. and then there are no Africans in there. So how do you get the message out? Because if you want the Africans to vote for you, you need to get a message out to these white people to vote for you. How do you deliver your message? Because they need to find out.
I was on TV. I had my media, but I'm just saying, district election is specific to the district if you live in that district.
What I'm saying is that if you are involved yourself with these white folks, which is very good, we have white folks friends, married white folks. But what I'm saying, the message, because at the end of the day, if you are by yourself and living in this city, you need to have your white folks following as your friend. But at the end of the day, as African, you need your pals. So do you go with your pals that I'm African man, or you just want to stand by yourself as an African man? So I'm just trying to get you that. Do you go by yourself?
No. It doesn't work that way in politics. Okay, people know me and people vote. You remember, when you vote in the primary, you choose whether you're a Democrat or Republican. Okay, that's the way the Texas thing is. If you live in Illinois, maybe it's a different, Michigan and any other state. So when you go to the primary, you have to choose what party you vote for. Most Africans are not Republicans. They vote Democrat.
I have a follow-up question on that. You mentioned Trump. What are your thoughts on the storming of the Capitol?
What are my thoughts on what?
On this, when they stormed the Capitol on January 6th.
Well, it is unfortunate that it happened. The reason behind it is being investigated. But hey, sometimes people take this politics out of context and it has an emotional reaction. I'm never emotionally drawn into politics. I do it for the purposes of service. And if the voters don't want me to serve, I'm fine with it. I'm a successful businessman. My father was a politician. My grandfather was. If you look at my family history, my older sister, same mom descendant, was a first lady in Nigeria. Her husband was a governor. So I played politics. When I was in college, I was in students' union, both from high school to college. I know how to do it, but it's not a do or die for me. So when I see people taking on to the street, you will never see me on a protest line. I don't protest.
That's why I'm asking, like, what I'm hearing from you, right? I'm hearing from you on the side of, I don't know if I'm going to say it in a better way, but forgive me. I'm going to try to figure out to say it in a better way. I'm hearing yourself is like, you as me, myself, and I. So you want to stand as a politician.
No.
And I, in a sense of, you just want to deliver the message. You want to be a politician. You want to be known, but you don't want to carry yourself. You want to carry the whole team.
No. Let me tell you, that's no guarantee. This is America. You're carrying people. You can go campaign. People can tell you, I'm going to vote for you. And when they go in that voting time, they can do anything. It's not like Africa where your vote is guaranteed. So what I'm saying is that sentiments taken, and then look at Africans. Go in Zambia community in North Texas. How many of them are citizens? How many of them will vote? How many of them will even donate money? There are two things you are looking for from voters. Okay, some people may give you money, but they may not vote for you because they don't live in your district. We are restricted by geography where you vote. So if I'm running for mayor in Dallas and a bunch of Nigerians are in Garland or Mesquite, they cannot vote for me. My uncle lives 5 miles away from me. He cannot vote for me in a Dallas election because he lives in Richmond.
Why do you want to go and stand in a place where there's none of your people?
No.
I think let's move forward.
We're gonna move.
Your question. No. I want to address your question. You know the lady that lives in Minnesota, okay, that is in Congress. The reason for that, she came as a refugee, and there was a concentration of them in a particular geography. That's why, and that community has continued to grow, and that's what she was able to. We go look at how many votes she got. So in some other places, Africans don't live like that. There is maybe the Minnesota, it may be an exception. You don't have any zip code or census tract that you have Africans that are in high number to constitute a voting bloc. Go look at it. I do these things. I served on the census count in 2010, and that's for
I love what you do, and I love your passion as a politician. But what I'm trying to say is, if you want to stand as a leader, you need to figure out where you stand. Because how am I going to stand in a place where it's only suburbs, only white people?
I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move just to get a vote. When I came, I decided to live in Dallas. I'm not going to say, because now I want to win an election, I'm going to go chase a zip code.
How do you carry? Because what it is, what I'm trying to say is, no matter where you go, racism is still there. So you go and stand in front of the white people and say, I want to be a congressman. I'm going to be a congressman for you. You're going to spend money. Nobody's going to vote for you. And that's what's been happening for the past 2 times you do it.
I want to switch gears a little bit. Can we forget about politics? Let's go to real estate. For those that do not know, could you tell our audience what is the difference between a real estate agent, real estate developer, and a real estate
Investor.
investor?
Okay. Real estate is actually land and building.
Mm-hmm.
In that land and building situation, you have what they call real property. Real property is the value part of it. It's the right for you to do something on real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, in America, when you go, if you get a title on real estate, you get a title of fee simple, which is the highest, or you
Mm-hmm.
become a leaseholder. You get
Right.
somebody can lease you a piece of land or piece of real estate for a period of time. You pay, can renew, and keep going. So
Mm-hmm.
real estate agent, depending on the state, and I think is the case in most states, you have to have a license,
Mm-hmm.
in order to represent a buyer or a seller.
Right.
You don't have to have a license to be a developer. You don't have to have a license to invest in real estate. But if you're going to have a license, that means you are looking for a commission. You want to represent a buyer or a seller, a tenant or a landlord. Then you have to have a license in order to do that. So that is basically the difference. But I do all kinds of real estate. I have a formal education in it. I went to University of Nigeria, University of Science and Technology in Nigeria, where I got my bachelor's, and then I went to Harvard for real estate, 2005 and 2006. So, for majority part of my life, I have been doing it. Even though sometimes I wanted to be a lawyer, some people think I could make a good lawyer. My wife thinks that. I took the LSAT thing, and I got in the 1 percentile. If you know how to do the 1 percentile, that means I was better than 99% of the people that took the test. But I wanted to go to an Ivy League, which would have been going to Harvard or Yale, and I never wanted to leave Dallas. So that is what I've done. My first graduation was 1983 in Nigeria. My father was in real estate. If
Mm.
you come to my house, you see I framed my father's business card and mine. I say like father, like son. Just to show you. So my father was a developer. I learned real estate going to his office. And when most boys will say, hey, I want to be like my dad. So when I finished high school, I chose to go to real estate. I could have been architecture or law. But because I see what my father was doing, I said, I'm going to do it. And I've been doing it and I like it.
Okay.
Good. That's good.
So I have, there are some questions from my audience, but I'm going to ask you this combined question. If somebody is trying to go into residential purchasing or commercial purchasing, do you recommend specific financial institutes, either banks or loan companies, or they could just use their own cash to do a down payment? First-time buyers, what is your advice on that? And
Is that a question from the audience?
no, it's not. This is my question before we
Oh,
go to
okay.
the audience. So I'm saying that because there are some people who are first-time buyers, they would want to know where to go to get a loan, or should I go into commercial right away, or should I go into residential right away? What do you think about those? And the
Well,
buy.
yeah.
Mhm.
If you're buying a home, the question is that your primary home?
Okay.
Or is it a secondary home? Or is it a vacation home? So that question has to be answered because depending on what the home classification is, the interest rate that goes with it is different.
Okay,
So,
residential. Let's assume it's residential. It's for yourself.
okay, then if you're residential, then it becomes how much is a residential home? Okay, so in certain zip codes, in certain areas of town, they may have what they call mortgage assistance, depending if you're buying an affordable low-income housing. They said, okay, they can assist you to the level of 1% or 2% of the purchase as a part of the down payment. And then you have the FHA, the federal housing, sort of mortgage that would make it say maybe 1% or 0% down. But one thing you have to recognize, the little money you have buying a home, the more your payment is going to be. So if your home is, let's say you're buying it, I don't know where you can buy $100,000 home these days in America, but
Yeah.
let's say your home is 100,000. It would be nice that you at least have 10% saved.
Right.
Okay, that becomes your equity. That becomes your down payment. It will lower your payment. But
Yeah.
if you go in zero, then
Yeah.
your payment is still going to reflect higher payment. So,
Mm.
so I always encourage people, what is your skin in the game? What
Yeah.
do you have? Because if you have a skin in the game, then you will do everything in order to hold on to that asset. I bought my house in 1995. I paid less than $200,000 for it. Today, the house is worth, God knows, a multiple of that kind of money because I chose the zip code. I had my payment down, and then when you buy real estate, you buy it based on the zip code. For if you
Yeah.
live in Dallas or Texas, most people buy for the sake of buying. You have to look at where is your value most likely going to appreciate.
Yes.
And again, the most Africans buy for the sake of buying. I've seen
No,
people.
no, I will disagree with that. But I want to go back to when you talked about the what is it? I lost my thought. Go ahead. The
I'm
interest
sorry.
rate. I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I
What
want
are
to
you
talk about
disagreeing? What are you disagreeing?
I you
That
disagree
Africans
where
buy
you're
for the
saying
sake of
Africans buy
buying.
houses just for the sake of buying houses. Not all Africans
Yeah.
But
do
look, let
that.
me tell you. Let me tell you. Look, when you do this, when you make a comment, when you say white people, Africans, look, there's always an exception in any statistical data.
Then
Okay.
when you
So
say
so wait,
Africans,
wait, 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 wait. So
that's
what I'm
incorrect.
saying is that when you have 100 Africans buying, what are the chances? When we look at statistics, we look at frequency, mode, and outcomes. So if you have 100 Africans doing it, what are the chances that 99% or 95% of them are going to do the same thing? So that leads to the generalization. What I'm saying is that I live in Dallas. Hold on a second. I live in Dallas. When I was buying, I told some people, hey, let's go look in this zip code. Some people that spent the same amount of money that I spent buying a house, their house have not appreciated because they are not in the right zip code. Okay?
But it
So
could
that
be anybody. They don't have to be Africans. It could be.
No,
no, no,
I'm
no,
gonna
no. What
disagree
I'm
with
look,
that.
look,
But
I'm going to talk about the community because when I came to America, I was one of the first people, Nigerians, to buy house in that part of Dallas. And the reason I do it because I have studied the market. If you live in Dallas, that's what they call. There's a street called Hillcrest. Okay, it's a north-south road. It's like the spine of the city. It's purely residential. So statistics have shown if you live within 1 or 2 miles of that road, east and west, your value of your real estate will never go too south, even if the economy is down. So, but most Africans started buying in suburbs.
no, I'm gonna
Okay,
disagree.
I'm sorry.
I disagree, but I want to move back to
No, no,
the
no. You cannot disagree because you don't have the
no,
data.
we
You
can
don't
move
live in
on.
Dallas.
We can
No,
move
no.
on. I wanted to go back to interest rate. As a developer, with the new build, the interest rate that's gone up. With the new builders, what they're doing right now is if you started your building, you put down your down payment, they start building. Now the interest rate is gone up. Obviously, your mortgage and everything else is gonna go up. What are your thoughts on that?
No, okay. When you go in, that's what they call you lock your interest rate. You
Mhm.
lock it. Okay.
I know a
So
couple of builders that actually canceled people's contracts
what
because
okay. When you get that contract, there are clauses. Okay, there are clauses that are going to be if something happens.
mhm.
So if a builder is taking your money and you have a lender, remember the builder is not the one who is funding your mortgage. So
Some
there's a
builders do lend money. Some builders lend money too.
well, again, I'm talking of. Let me tell you, lady, there's what they call
Priska, my
federal.
name is Priska.
Okay, Priska. There's what they call federally regulated lenders. If
Mhm.
you're getting money from hard money lenders or a builder funding you, that I'm not talking about that. If I go in and go to Bank of America and get a mortgage, the day that he said, "What am I buying? I'm buying this home. How much is the home?" They go through the credit analysis and they said, "Okay, we can fund you, but you need a down payment." That particular day, okay, they lock me into an interest rate. Then I'll take that money and go to a builder because the builder is now on the basis of the mortgage approval is going to build for me. He cannot back out of that. Okay, but now if you go to the builder who say, "Oh, I'll fund you, I'll finance your company, I finance your construction," then the builder is in a position to play with you. So
Okay.
I'm going to talk about federally insured institution, which is
Let me finish.
FDIC.
So your advice is to to not go with a builder as a lender, is
No,
to
I
get
think
a
it's
lender
advised
outright.
that is advised, if I can hear, is saying you have to lock it in. So as you go in,
No, we're talking about lending. Is
oh,
you
okay.
That's
advise,
what I'm
are
saying.
you
So
better
who's
off?
lending you the money? Who's lending you the money? You can lend money to yourself. You can a family member can lend you money, but I'm just saying if you go into federally insured institution, it is different. But if you go into some other sources, they can play with you. They can say, okay, we finance you for 2 years, you come back. That's what they call adjustable rate, and all of those things start to go on. But if you have good credit and you have the down payment requirement, the mortgage holder as that institution. They will lock you in as of that date.
So
Except
Ryan White recently, is it Ryan Holmes recently did the same, where somebody bought land, put down payment, and then as the interest rate went up, they almost wanted to back out of the contract because then they told the client that they had to pay more. That was my question.
okay, remember the interest rate is on the person who is going to pay the mortgage.
Right.
Okay. So it does not have, the home price. So when you go in and they say, what home am I buying? It's $400,000. Okay. So the builder agrees to build it for you at that price. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you go to your lender, you say, I am buying $400,000 home. The lender said, oh, we can finance you 90%. Okay, that means that the mortgage is going to be $360,000. So you have to come out with the $40,000. So once you are approved, the developers start to build for you. Now, if there are what they call cost overruns because of certain issues, that thing has to be put into the contract. But it's not such that your $400,000 home now becomes $600,000. That means, hey, the mortgage lender is going to back out, and then you self going to back out. So again, it depends on the contract. If the contract has all these contingencies, and if you can address the contingencies, and then you hold them. If they do it, you can sue them. Let me tell you, back in 1990, there was a Nigerian family that moved from Virginia to Houston area. The same thing was going to happen to them. So I was their real estate agent. The developer was playing with them. I went over there and said, if you don't build this guy their home at the price you have agreed to, they will sue you and they will get the house free. Guess what? They built the house for him. So it depends on if you are knowledgeable. If you have people advising you, sometimes you have to have that professional knowledge or
Yeah.
expert representing you in order to protect you.
Yeah, most builders have changed the contracts, and it's a lot of paperwork, so you really don't read the fine print. And they've been canceling a lot of
That's why you
contracts.
have to have an
That's what
agent.
we have.
You have to have an agent, somebody representing you, so that way the pressure is taken off you from being taken advantage of. Because
Right.
real estate is they say everything you have to do in it has to be in a contract. So if you don't understand it, get somebody.
Mr. Ejike,
Thank you.
is this a buying market right now?
Huh? Yeah, well, of course, every market depends on are you buying, are you selling. Now, houses are very expensive, but if you sell your house now, what are you going to go buy? Except you are retiring. For instance, if I were to be going back to Nigeria, if I sell my home, I am in a sweet heaven. But if I sell my home now, what am I going to do? I'm going to still buy another home, and so you have to decide the timing. Are you retiring? Are you relocating? Where are you going? What does the market say? So it's a very difficult time for most people that are marginal to buy now because things are
Yeah.
expensive,
And
except you have a long-term hold. Remember, real estate has cycles. So you have to have a long-term holding interest. I have been in my house since 1995. What is that? 27 years. And I'm not going anywhere. Even though my wife is saying, oh, let's go buy something by the ocean. I said, no. I can download the ocean and look at it, and I'm fine with it. I'm not going to buy anything anywhere.
Talk about that. Talk about that. You are the first boy in the family, and your father is a king. Do you plan to go home and become a king?
No, I'm not going back to Nigeria. I'll never go back there to live.
you cannot last in Nigeria because you are very honest and you're very blunt the way you speak about the mistakes that you see in Africans, and Africans in Africa might not understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. Thank you for that observation. In fact,
stay in Dallas.
Stay in
Stay
America.
in Dallas. Stay in Dallas City where all the white people are that would understand you, because you are very, very honest with the way you talk, but it might come off a little hurtful to some people. Because I can remember when you were talking about you don't go in the Nigerian community because of whatever you were saying.
Sorry,
And the real estate thing, I just think I don't,
Irene, I think Nelly's trying to say something.
guys,
yeah.
we have 5 minutes left till the show is over. I think I want us to spend the rest of the time just giving tips. So one of the questions is going to be a series of quick questions here. One of the
okay.
questions that people want to know is, how do I get started as a real estate developer, or even as a real estate agent, if you have any knowledge of that. Number two, how can they contact you? And number three, to end it all, if anybody wants this line of business as a way of making money, what is your advice?
Look, business is business, and if you understand real estate, you can understand everything, because it's the beginning and end. For those who want to reach me, you can go on my website. It's my last name, okpa.com. I'll give you my telephone number. My number has been listed since 1987. I'm not a hard person to find. You Google me, you can see me, 214-215-8040. That's my number. That's my cell phone. If you want to get into the real estate, if you want to talk to me personally about it, because, real estate represents 70% of America's economic wealth.
Mhm.
It's not like the real estate we do in Africa.
Yeah.
I ask the question, how do you make real estate an export good? A lot of so-called professionals in real estate don't even understand it, because it's about the rights. So you can own a bunch of real estate in America and sell the rights to somebody in Zambia or somebody in Japan. That's what keeps, fueling the money for their stuff. But in the case of Africa, they don't have, those rights are not properly defined, and the values are not very reliable. I thought I was talking to the Zambian guy, the first Zambian guy to have a degree in real estate, and I told him that he was shocked. Chris Mulanga, he went to Enugu, University of Nigeria. He's going to be coming to Dallas. So if you want to do that, you can reach me, send me an email, eopa. That is my last name, okpa@okpa.com. I will respond. I am very sharing in my information. And thank God I'm very knowledgeable, because I've been involved. I came to America. I've been engaged. I have been involved. I have done projects. I did the first residential tower in downtown Dallas. I put it together in 2005. When you play in the downtown of any city, you get to see real estate more than real estate. It becomes politics. It becomes a whole lot of other issues. So I'm available. I'm available to share information. I'm available to encourage people. One thing I don't do very well is I'm not a socializer. I don't hang around for the hanging around sake.
You already said it. All right. You are me, myself, and I alone. That's it. So
No. I'm not. I am self-centered, but I'm not selfish. I'm self-centered. I'm not selfish. If you go into Dallas and ask a lot of people, they can tell you that guy has done this for me, but I'm not coming over to come sit around and just talk about something. Has never been my nature. I was the only son of my dad and my mom. Even I came from a polygamous family. So I have done a whole lot of things just relying on myself. But I'm not selfish.
Do you visit home? Do you usually go home?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I buried my baby sister died in June last year. I was the one who went home and buried her. I go to Nigeria often. I was there 4 times last year up until January. But like I said, my father wrote me a letter in 1993, said, "Don't come back."
Quick question. You didn't answer. Somebody that's trying to get into real estate, would you advise them to start as a real estate agent?
I can mentor. I need to know what it is they want to do. Okay, if they want to be investors, they don't need to have any license. If they want to develop, depending again where they are, they don't have to. I can say, hey, what do you want to develop? What do you want to get into? Have you acquired the land? Are you going to, there's all kinds of many parts, that needs to be addressed. And I'll share the experience. Like I said, my wife and I just, we have a 13 acres. We just put together for 55 homes and an apartment complex. My wife is an electrical engineer, but I told her, I said, honey, by the time we're done with this project, you going to understand real estate like a professor, because I know it like the back of my hand. After 9/11, I was the only Black person selected by the State Department to go do site selection for new embassies in America.
Thank you,
Can
Mr.
you tell your
Ejike.
phone
Clearly,
number again? Can you tell his phone number again for people who want to reach out?
It's 214-215-8040.
Okay, thank you.
214-215-8040. If you want to get in touch with Mr. Okpa, you can also go to his website, www.okpa.com. It is on the screen. You can see it right there. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. It's been a pleasure having you on Insaka. Clearly, 1 hour was not long enough. But,
we
appreciate you coming, and hopefully next time we'll learn more about real estate. Now that we know the other background.
Thank you, ladies. Like I said, I do economic development. I like to tell you guys, come around, shadow me, see what I do, come to the city planning and see how you make your case in order to get your zoning. These are the things that add value to what you do. It's not just buying real estate. How do you unleash the value in that particular property? Right. That is where the value, that's where the wealth is created. So who is in Maryland that you said might want to come visit me? Okay, you could call me. Okay.
How long are you here for?
We'll talk about that offline, but thank you so much. This has been Insaka Talk Show, y'all. Have a good one.
Thank you.